What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Hidden Gems featuring Jazzmeia Horn on the vocals and composition as well. Welcome to the Corona Lounge. I'm your host, Christopher McBride here. Like I said, it's good to see you guys coming in, and I hope your week's been all right. Hope your last couple days have been all right. I just want to thank everybody for joining us with Terrace Martin, man. That was one heck of an interview, man. We're gonna have to do that one again because technical difficulties on my end. I didn't get the footage, so we definitely got to do that one again. But like I said, it's good to be back. Episode 17. I'm so grateful for the response of everybody. I'm glad you guys are enjoying these. So today we have the incredible vocalist Jazzmeia, like I said, out of Dallas, which is why I had to throw on the homie Roy Hargrove, who's also out of Dallas. You know what I'm saying? And we'll talk about that a little bit, what that means to her about being from that region of the country and representing, and all the incredible players out of there. Yeah, man. And so I guess without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Oh, before I forget, I want to thank our sponsor, Shannon Shannon Fashions. She's been doing masks for all of the people who's come on the live stream before. She's been doing masks for people. So we'll talk about that in a little bit as well, because we definitely got to shout out the sponsor. So without further ado, let me add my girl here. I saw her come. Yeah. Let's give a round of applause. This is Jazzmeia Horn in the Corona Lounge. Yes, Nicole Sweeney, send me your address. I got you. Shout out to Nicole Sweeney. What's up, mama? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
Man, I'm great, man. I'm all right. Just
that's good.
Doing this thing. Yeah, I love the ambiance back there. I feel like
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah, are you
this is my private lesson / jazzagrams, everything that I'm doing, my little Zoom meetings with my team and stuff, everything that I'm doing is just kind of like, this is what I use the little presentation for. It's like a little stuff that I have, and I just don't take it down. It's just, it's there. You know what I'm saying? For occasions like this, it's there. So. You breaking up. Let me see if it's my internet. Joins. See, it's my internet, because I can't. Every 5 seconds you come in and out. Let me see. I'm gonna try to turn up the volume. All right. Can you hear me better now? Uh-oh. All right. I see a circle. I don't know if that's on my end. I don't know if that's on my end or not, but hopefully we could get back. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Hello, you there? Yeah, can you hear me?
I can. All right.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I was saying, are you a plant person? Some people are plant people.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well,
I got like 100 plants in my apartment.
Oh, word. Okay. One with the earth. One with the earth.
Yeah.
Man. All right, man. Well, I guess we could get into some music, man. We could start with this. I gotta say, first of all, Jazzmeia is our first fan request from the fans. I try to put after every episode, hey, let me know who you guys want to see, and it was just consistent. When's Jazzmeia coming in? With Jazzmeia? Yeah, it was.
Thanks, guys.
It was a couple. It was a lot. So I was like, all right, I gotta reach out and and definitely ask, because some people don't just they're not really privy, or they don't necessarily enjoy to be interviewed. You know what I'm saying? So I always try to make sure that people are comfortable and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's dope to see you on here. I was going through these tracks on Love and Liberation, man. This was one of the harder ones to pick select tracks, because everything is just super killing. Everything is the compositions are so detailed and arranged, And I love that part of it. So I wanted to start with Free Your Mind. How did that track come together, composition wise, and you know, and yeah, how did you put it together before y'all recorded it? You know, I know all the cats in the band, but you know, how did you put it together before you recorded?
Well, the whole concept was there before I even recorded a social call. So I'm the type of person that thinks, you know, a couple albums ahead, or, you know, thinks ahead in general. You know, kind of like when you read music, you can't just read what the note that's like that you're playing. You kind of have to read ahead in that way. I kind of look at my life that way too. So you know, the first album, A Social Call, was recorded and done because I got a record deal with Concord Records after winning the Monk competition. Right. So as soon as that competition was, you know, as soon as I won that competition, I had already knew what I was going to record, because in my mind, I was like, if I win this competition, these are the songs that I'm going to do. If I don't win this competition, these are the songs that I'm going to do. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of what happened, I was already prepared to, like, just go ahead and start marketing and doing little things to promote my album. And so the tunes were already recorded, already written, already sent to the Library of Congress. So what I just did was come up with selective themes. So with A Social Call, I'm like, okay, you know, what songs can I sing that are already, like, people already know, that are kind of out there, like A Social Call, like Social Call, the song. I'm like, okay, these songs need to be songs that people have already heard, because they don't know what my sound is like. They don't know what my style is like. They don't know what my timbre, my voice, my tone. They don't know that much about me as an artist. So I sang standards to be like, okay, this is who I am. And then with the second album, with Love and Liberation, I was like, all right, cool, no more standards. Right. A little bit. I'm gonna give you a little bit of standards, but now you get, you know, you get all of me, you know? Yeah. This is like who I am, you know, because you kind of get a snippet of my aesthetic or essence through A Social Call. But then when you hear Love and Liberation, I don't hold anything back. You know, I'm giving everything. So Free Your Mind is just, that's a mantra for me. Most of these songs that are on the album are actually mantras for me. They're part of my meditation. They're part of my daily ritual. A part of what I teach my children as well is always free your mind and think your own thoughts. You know, what I let my 5-year-old dress herself. Sometimes she picks things that I think are color contrasted and I think that don't match, but her mind is free and that's what she wants to be. And that's how we should be in music too. You know, everything shouldn't be in a box. It should be, you know, however you want to express. Yeah. And so with that, that's, you know, for me, I'm like, right now, you know, everything for me always is about what's going on in society and what's happening in life. So with Love and Liberation, I'm like, all right, cool. We did A Social Call. We know what's going on. We know we got nuclear plants leaking into streams. We know we got white fragility all over the motherfucking place. You know, it's a whole lot of stuff that's happening. Yeah. And I think that we should address all of it and not just, you know, bits and pieces of it, because that's what makes the whole puzzle, the yin and the yang, you know, that's life. So free your mind and let your thoughts expand, you know, like literally, that's, you know, do what you want to do, be about yourself. What does that mean? Like truly being about yourself and who you are. What you know? do you the way that you are with your daughters, you know, allowing them to dress and things of that nature, what did you have that freedom as a kid? Because I remember, okay, I was gonna say, I remember as a kid, I don't remember dressing myself at all until I was, hell no, no man, until I could put my own pants, you know, I don't know, but I never like, because I feel like I would have wore some wild stuff, you know, but I don't even recall it, you know. So what does that mean to you, for them to see them develop their minds, you know, as a mother, you know? How does that, you know, what's that experience like? I mean, I couldn't imagine, you know, I don't have any children. So, you know, what does that feel like to you? Can you describe it? For me, for me, I really just want them to be able to think without somebody telling them what to do and how to think. You know, I want them to be like in school, you know, you're taught like different things. You're taught mathematics, you're taught English, you know, you're taught a language or a couple of languages. Yeah. You're taught, social studies, history. It might be the wrong history, but you taught history. You're taught how to read and write, you know, English, you know, language. So there are certain things that the school system doesn't necessarily teach, like financial literacy or logic. You know what I mean?
Come on. Talk
And
to 'em.
so for me, I'm just like, all right, cool. Before you go to school, you know, home is the first place that you're educated. Let me just school you on like the life, the world, what's going to happen and how you might be, without making it in such a way that you can't understand. You know what I mean? They're children. They're 3 and 5. So
Right.
talking to them about what's happening with the mask and things, watch a whole lot of television, because it's always just like so much stuff, so much colors in the mental system. So for me, I'm just like, all right, let me give you a little bits and pieces of certain things that you're going to need, and tools that you can actually use and you'll be able to utilize when you go out into the world. So that's my whole spin on it. You know, they're going to learn math, they're going to learn reading, they're going to learn everything, you know, that the system is going to give them, you know, by experience. But I need them to learn logic and, you know, other things that the school system doesn't necessarily teach. So that's my, you know, that's my way of viewing it and looking at it. And that's kind of my perspective on that.
Beautiful. Before we jump into the music, can you talk about the personnel on the album? Now, the same people from A Social Call, most of those people are on this album as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. What is when you went about picking the people for your album to record, what made you go with like, I want that sound, I want this sound, you know, that kind of vibe?
I feel like I like playing with certain people who have the same mentality that I have in life.
Yeah.
You know, the same take. Like typically it's, you know, the industry is full of a lot of talented artists, but a lot of those artists are men. A whole lot of, you know, a lot of the artists are men. There's a lot of women too, but there's also a lot of men. And so when I first came on the scene in 2009, I started playing with a lot of men, a whole bunch of different, you know, just men from everywhere, from Jersey, Connecticut, from the South, from everywhere. And, you know, it was always a person's spirit, you know, like the reverence that they had for the music. And also, like, I talk to people, especially men, about their relationships with women and their relationships with their mothers and their grandmothers and their aunts and maybe daughters and whoever. And those people who have reverence for women in their families, who treat their women with respect, who, you know, are kind-hearted to their women, or, you know, someone who just has chivalry or gumption to get up if they see a pregnant woman on a train, just stuff like that, little small stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like those are the type of people that I want to actually build music with. Yeah. Morally.
Got you. Okay.
That's
all right.
true.
Well, I think we're gonna jump into this. We're gonna jump into this first track. We're gonna jump into this first track. This is Free Your Mind. You know, when I first saw this title, Free Your Mind and your rest should follow. That's the first thing that came to my head. I was saying, you know me, you know. I was like, go ahead, Jazz. You better go ahead. You better go ahead.
That's hilarious, yo.
Hey, yo, that was. You have not checked out the record. Jump off the live stream. Get the record. Come right back to the live stream. All right. You know, Jazz is such an incredible artist. We want to make sure to show her support, all that good stuff. So yeah, without further ado, this is the first track off the album Love and Liberation, Free Your Mind. We're going to check out a little bit of that, and then we're going to roll with some fan questions. Thank you guys for coming out. We'll be right back. All right.
2, 1, 2, 1. Free your mind and let your thoughts expand. Take lifetime only on your command. Free your mind and let your thoughts expand. Just a mind, look to the promised land. To hatred that can be your soul,
We'll let Josh rock a little bit. Yeah. Virtual round of applause. Yeah. Josh, man, one of the baddest trumpet players in the world, man. One of the baddest trumpet players in the world. You know, and as soon as I just got gifted a computer from a supporter of the series. As soon as I get an interface cracking, I got to get Josh on here because his album is bonkers. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So let's get to some fan questions. Listen, if you guys have a question, feel free to pop it down in the questions box. I cannot guarantee that we will get to it, but I will guarantee that I will look at it. All right. So without further ado, let's get to our first fan question here. All right. Here you go. Can you see it at the bottom? Yeah.
Any advice for a pianist who can and wants to sing, but isn't as good as actual trained singers?
Maybe a lounge pianist?
Who wants to sing, who isn't as good? I mean, that's kind of a vague question. What can you do to practice singing? I would say I kind of need to know some stuff like what's your range and what style of music do you play? Is this a jazz musician? Is this a person? Because then I would be able to give a little, I guess, I would say maybe just listen to some singers that you like to sing with and find somebody who has a range that's similar to yours. You know, when I first started studying this music, I was studying a lot of Sarah Vaughan's music, and I was singing with a lot of her songs. You know, I was transcribing a lot of the songs that she was singing, mainly because that's the range that I have. Someone like Shirley Horn, who everybody asked me if I related to. I liked her music because I liked her phrasing, and I would practice like trying to phrase. So I think find something about different singers that you like and study with them, even though they may not be alive, or even if it's like R&B or jazz or gospel or whatever genre it is. Just find somebody that you like and practice along with them, and find somebody with your range. That's important. Find somebody that has your range and kind of practice along with them, or go study with somebody that's alive that you like, that you might be interested in.
Got you.
Hopefully that answered his question.
Going back to your compositions, they have so many intricate hits, very interesting chord functions. Can you talk to us about a little bit of your writing process, and like what age did you write your first song, and what got you into composition? Because a lot of times vocalists are known for simply being vocalists and they're not known for their compositions, but your pen game is crazy. So like what really got you into what got you into composition? What does that mean to you as a vocalist to write and have your own voice?
I was maybe 21 when I wrote my first song. Yeah. And it was mostly because when I was studying at the new school, my teachers were like, you have a great voice, you sing these songs like you know them, like you wrote them. Why don't you just write your own songs? And I was like, I don't think I can do that. You know, I don't have enough piano chops, or I don't know how to do that. You know, I don't know what that's like. And didn't realize that I had been writing songs my whole life. You know, what I do, I have a journal. I have a couple of different journals actually, and I have a journal called Lyrics. Don't forget the lyrics. And basically, I just write all of my lyrics there. If I come up with some lyrics, if I'm riding on the train or in a car on the way to the airport, and I have, you know, a sentence of something in my head. It might not be a song now, but it might be a song later. So I always just write that little snippet of something down. And then sometimes it'll, you know, the melody will come first, and I'll just go and write down the melody. I'll sit at the piano maybe, or I'll just record the melody on my phone, you know, or my recorder, and then go back to it. You know, if I'm traveling, I'll just, you know, play with it, and I'll say, today is April the 1st, 2020. This is a little diddly that I came up with, la da 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 da. This is the key that it's in. This is the sound that I want to hear. This is the tempo. This is, you know, or maybe I don't have all that yet. It really just depends. But I always keep my recorder with me. And then you build on each, kind of like how you build a house. You start with the foundation, and then you start with everything that goes inside. So, you know, I kind of do that. And then when the song is completed, when it's finished, then I work on the cosmetics. Do I want to add horns? Do I want to add some embellishments? How do the horns fit around the melody? Which instruments am I playing? Is this for rhythm section, or is this just for band, or is this for voice and horns? What is the contrast? And then what is the story about? Because when you know what the story is about, you have like little elements that you use that fit with the story. You know, like when you think of the A Train, you think of like what New York City sounds like. You know what I mean? What do you hear? And then you listen to the song, and you're like, okay, I hear those different, like maybe in the beginning, you know, it's like the whistle of the horn. So sometimes you use horns for those kind of elements. You know, it just really depends on the sound that you're looking for. And that's how I do my writing. So with the song like Free Your Mind, lyrics came first because I was like, this is a message. You know, this is not just a story. This is a message. Yeah, it's a story because I've allowed myself to do it. But this is also a message, you know, catch the message. But then how do I make that message? First of all, I love the jazz standard sound, you know, but a lot of those songs were written by older Jewish guys. So that's kind of, you know, someone else's culture. So for me, I like to write my own songs that are in the same type of chord progressions and sound, you know, like they could be standards. I really enjoy doing that. So that was another thing. I'm like, okay, chord changes as it pertains to the melody that I've already written. How do I sneak the changes in there? And how do I add the changes to where they actually match the melody that I already written according to the standard that has already been set for playing changes, you know? And then you just literally build. You just build on top of that. Once you know where you want to go, then you'll know how to get there.
When did you start studying piano heavily, would you say? Like, you know, sitting down and kind of getting your chords and things of that nature together?
I would probably say like my last year in college, so 2013. I was just like, all right, cool. Like, there's a lot of songs that I know and a lot of songs that I don't really know how to play the changes to. Like, I know and I can hear, but I really want to get in, like in between, you know, those passing tones and learn how to make the chords fit together and sing what I want to sing and not necessarily what might be written. So I started going to Barry Harris's class, you know, to learn like the tradition. I feel like, shout out to Barry Harris. Really,
you know, and it's we don't take advantage of that resource enough. I don't feel like, and that's on me too. I'm definitely not trying to you know, put on airs, man. Like, we don't take advantage of that resource, and now we're in this situation, and it's like, man, will we get a chance to get to that again? And I hope we do. But you know, Barry, for everybody who doesn't know, Barry Harris, the incredible pianist out of Detroit, I'm pretty sure. He puts on a class in New York every Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it's a $10 class.
He puts on 3 classes. He puts on 3 classes.
Right.
One for singers, one for piano players, and one for horn players. He does the piano class from about 5 to 6, and then he does the vocal class from like 7 to 9, and then he does the instrumental class from like 9:30 to 10:30, 11.
Right.
And I remember days of me just going through the whole thing and running out of memory on my phone because I done recorded the whole thing.
Right.
So I have a lot of those classes recorded, and sometimes I just sit down and listen, you know, to him. He's like, all right, play this.
Right.
You know, I remember going to those classes and understanding, because I really didn't like going to school, man. I don't feel like the people who were there teaching, you know, were masters of the music, and they didn't really have have a reverence for the essence of the music and the history of the music. And so for them, it was just about teaching, you know, for a curriculum and teaching to get through something. So I didn't really enjoy that. But there were people like Charlie Persip and Bernard Purdy and Billy Harper and Roy Hargrove and Jimmy Owens and Cecil Bridgewater and George Cables and Reggie Workman. All of those teachers taught at the New School, so I studied under them. You know, people are always like, my advisor was like, don't you want to study with the vocalist? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm gonna get to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah.
But let me study with Pinecone. Let me study with West Trait. Let me study with Ralph Peterson and Cyrus Chestnut, the cats that played with Betty Carter. Let me study with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
And try to understand, get to some different language, the bebop language, and to really understand the history and the culture of this music, versus learning something in the institution where half the people that teach in the institution don't really necessarily care about the aesthetics and really understand the history of the music.
I would always tell people, you know, if I ever have a collegiate course, I want that course to be, I want that course to be the Scene 101. That's the course, the Scene. And I'll be like, hey cats, welcome to the Scene. I'll see you cats Thursday at this club, and you know, and I'll see y'all there. And that, and, you know, and getting them out, because you know, and it's funny, in school I learned so much. I learned a lot in school. You know, that's where I really got changes together. You know, I had the time to practice this and that. But again, there's no education like the streets. There's no education like being yelled at. It's no education like being screamed at by a grown man. You know, when you know, because you don't know the changes, and they like, yo, get your shit together, the changes. You know what I'm saying? And you like, oh, you know what I mean? It's like, because if they say that in college, they probably gonna be out the door, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the college, you know. Yeah. Some colleges, they just say whatever, which is the institutional thing is a whole different conversation. But I mean, like the education from being in the clubs, being around, you know, musicians who, you know, are better than you, who are older than you, who might just have more life experience. You know what I'm saying? There's no substitute for that. And a lot of times these universities, the first thing they try to do is substitute the experience of playing with people, playing with a grown man. And that's why that disconnect between the elders and the people like us, you know, kind of that started shifting, because we got away from hanging with the elders in the clubs to being by ourselves in a practice room, you know? And so I feel you on that, man. And, you know, and I love the fact that you was like, I'll study with a vocalist, but yeah, let me get work with. Let me get, you know, the cats, you know, where you can.
Yeah, because my mother, you know, that's another thing about this music, is it comes out of the African American, you know, the Black experience. Mm-hmm. So my mother is a gospel singer still to this day. My father passed last month, but he was a drummer at my family church back home. Thank you. Yeah. My grandmother sang in the Baptist and piano at our church. So I don't need to go to school to do all of that. For me, I wanted to go to school to learn the language, because this music is held together by men. The whole world is very misogynistic. But when I came to New York, I learned that, okay, if I'm gonna have to do this, I'm gonna have to put my big girl jaws on and go out there with the brothers and go out there with the men and really understand, because I will go to the scenes and they'll be like, do you know the changes? Do you know what key you want to sing it in? All right, then move along, little mama. And I'd be like, what the hell is going on? You know what I'm saying? So like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go to a jam session and call Inner Urge with y'all. Come on, let's play then. You understand what I'm saying? And then people were like, oh, she's actually studying. So then I was like, all right, I'm gonna play whatever I want to play now. It's no more your way. Like, everybody has a voice and a purpose on this planet, and it's very important to be respectful to people so that, you know, everybody can grow. You know what I mean? I didn't like the scene. I didn't like all of that. But it helps me to grow and to learn, and you know, and to have different experiences. So I'm grateful for the scene.
You can see, you know, it's funny. You can see that. I think, you know, but you can see it like, all right, y'all want to play Inner Urge? Cool. I'm gonna go scat the mess out of Inner Urge.
You feel me?
And I can do it in all 12 keys. So what y'all want to do? Let's do Inner Urge and see. And see, you know what I mean? Like, I feel you. I feel you. I'm with you. Iron sharpens iron, baby. I'm with you. Remember, you know,
absolutely.
Yo, I can't remember. We was doing 4-on-1 at Dizzy's. You remember this? And you was like, I'm gonna call 4-on-1. And I was like, I'm gonna have that shit learned by the time we get. You know what I mean?
And then here's how I fucked all y'all up.
Push me.
Here's how I fucked all y'all up with that, because y'all played 4-and-1 and I played Evidence. Hell yeah. Because the changes are the same. And y'all was like, I'm like, don't fuck up. You know what I mean? And that's fun. It's fun because it's like, for me, it's like, you guys are the first people to call somebody out about not knowing the changes and not knowing the melody. And then, you know what I mean? And it's like, and then someone steps out and knows the melody and it changes. And then you have to just curl up into a ball and sit there. Be nice to people, because you never know when you're going to need somebody. You never know when you never know when you're going to need somebody. It's not cool to belittle people on the scene like that. But I learned from it, you know. For me, it made my back stronger. You know, it made my back stronger, because I wasn't ever going to give up. I wasn't going to be like, all right, you know what, I ain't going to another jam session. I'm like, no, I'm going to learn the rules and play by their rules, and then I'm going to get my own band, and then they're going to come play by my rules, and that's just how it's going to go. You know what I mean? So, and it works. The next thing you got to do now is when you hit a session, just start calling out some standards in different keys. Then you're going to see motherfuckers really tense up. They you know, let's play Confirmation in G. Motherfuckers be like, oh, you know, then you'll see the shit. That's where you get their ass. If you really want to get some musicians back, go to the jam session and call out some tunes in some different keys that they ain't used to playing in, and then you gonna see them motherfuckers shrivel up. I promise you. That's amazing.
then now they got to play by your rules. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Searching a little bit. You know, low key, I got kind of hyped, because I thought it was the Roy Ayers one, right? So I was like, oh shit, you know. But then
yeah. Okay.
It's all good. When I heard it, I was like, oh shit, this shit was smacking. Okay. And you was all over scatting. So let's talk. You know, what was your approach when you scat sing? Like, you know, how, like, who are your influences scat wise, and like, what is your approach? I know some people, they you know, they sing whatever syllable. Some people sing you know, do, da, D syllables. So what was your approach? What is your approach with scatting? How do you approach it?
For me, I'm a musician. You know what I mean? Like, my body is my instrument. That's the only difference. You know what I mean? Like, I can't close me up and put me in a case. But you know, I approach it as if I'm a saxophone player like yourself, or a trumpeter, or a pianist. You know what I mean? I just, like, you know, that's what those Barry Harris classes did for me. You know, just learning how to approach the changes as a musician and not necessarily a vocalist. And that's also something that's not necessarily taught in a university, depending on where you go. But
there's a big disconnect. There's a big disconnect between the vocalists and the musicians, and we gotta fix that somehow, because it's like, I feel like musicians don't have enough respect for the vocalists at times, and then, you know, on the other hand, the vocalists aren't getting the knowledge to like piano and composition skills. It's like, all right, you know, you go sing, you know, the big band comes out, you sing all of me, and then you go sit down, and then the, you know,
yeah, I
the
don't
band,
like that.
you know what I'm saying? So we got to work. We got to work on, like you said, you wanted to be a musician. We got to work on making sure that that all of the musicians are getting covered. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, I love that you're raising the bar for you know, the vocalist. It's like, you know, I'm writing my music, you know, I'm writing my changes, I'm writing the horn parts, you know. It was
But
fun.
I tell the singers that I teach, because I also teach lessons, so I tell the singers that I teach all the time, a lot of that is our fault. A lot of how we are treated, you got to teach people how to treat you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that is our fault. Like, if you don't know the changes and if you don't know the melody, I mean, we have the ability to sing anything in any key, because we even got keys that you guys don't have that's not on the piano.
Quarter
because
tone.
we have those tones. Exactly.
Yeah, I got
so
you.
I'm like, you know, you go through the changes, you go through the real book too, and you sing all of those songs in many different keys. You know, if it don't fit your range, then that's one thing. You make it fit your range. You sing high where you can sing high, and you sing low where you can sing low, and you make it fit. And that's also what helps you with the vocal agility, being able to sing scat high and scat low and all of that kind of stuff. So for me, I just, you know, I always thought about telling a story, but also how I'm phrasing around what the structure of the melody already is. So that's, you know, that's how I approach scatting. And then syllables and all that kind of stuff, that don't really matter to me. You know what I mean? None of that matters. For me, I have to make sure that my tongue, I like the trumpet, but I have to make sure that my tongue has enough agility to go up and down and up and down. Hold on one second. What tu reclamo? Dintanga we naskoko. Witang. Reclamo. Witang.
Okay. I want some more snacks.
But why are you coughing like that? Are you okay? What happened?
This is beautiful.
I was drinking my juice.
Reclamo. Let me see. Take a deep breath. Okay, here, let's drink some water. You scared, mommy? You okay? You have to slow down, okay? You have to slow down.
I think I know why. It's because I was drinking a little fast.
You was drinking too fast. That's why I said you have to slow down, okay? Go watch the Wiz. You can have some snacks when I finish my meeting, okay?
Okay.
I love you. Thank you.
Bye. You know, that's perfect time for another fan question. Bam.
Okay, go ahead. Dan, you right. How do you balance motherhood and touring? Just like that? You feel me? Just like that. Just like that. Like,
yo,
you know?
Yeah. Have you brought your children on the road before?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both of their, well, the oldest one's passed as much stamps as mine has, because for a minute she was say, shot, you were not worried about those cucumbers. You said you didn't want them, so you guys can share now. I don't want to hear no fighting.
Here, you get 3 and I get 3.
So girls fight a lot anyway. The oldest one, you know, I was taking her on the road a whole lot because I really didn't trust people, and I didn't want anybody around my children, so I felt comfortable taking her on the road with me, especially because I wanted to wait till she had the ability to actually speak for herself, you know. Yeah. And one of the things that I do with my children, I talk to them instead of like, oh, mommy, shooba shoop shoobies and all of that. I don't do all that, you know. Like, I literally speak to them, and they speak 3 different languages because my ex-husband is Sutu from South Africa, and I wanted his language to not just be, oh, that's daddy's thing that daddy does. I wanted to be able to speak the language too, so that she can. So I was just speaking Sutu to her just now.
Yeah.
And I want her to be able. I want them to be able to understand his language and their African culture as well as their indigenous American culture. So I taught them, you know. But I'm also from Texas and I speak Spanish fluently. Yeah. So I also teach them Spanish, just so that they'll have another language underneath their belt. Yeah. And so they're, you know, they're picking it up like this. And also taking them on the road is good because they also have they learn about different cultures and about different people. And so they just don't have to see things like one, you know, have one perspective. I think like with a lot of my students, they kind of question me and they're like, well, what do you mean that jazz is an African-American tradition? You know, we've had jazz over here for the last 20 years. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm 20 years old. I'm a little, you know what I'm saying? My mother and father were listening to jazz music, and my grandmother and grandfather was listening to jazz music. So, you know, I feel like a lot of the youth, you know, the millennials right now don't necessarily have an appreciation for culture and other people's culture. And I don't want my children to grow up that way. So by me taking them on the road, that's exposing them to many cultures. And then they also have pen pals. Like they have pen pals in Taiwan and Korea and China, the places that they visited and met little children. And so we write them letters and, you know, send them pictures and stuff and keep in contact with them so that by the time they're older, if they decide, well, you know what, I want to go to China, you have a friend there. You understand what I'm saying? You already have connections there because your mama been there. You know, it's like just building, this is a part of my legacy. You know what I mean? That's just the way that I chose to do things because, you know, the system is interesting. It's not necessarily fair, and you have to make it what you want it to be. You know, you have to build what you want to build and what you see. And you know, if you want to be the change, you have to be the one to change it. Gotcha. So, you know, it's hard to answer that question. It's very difficult to balance motherhood and, you know, being an artist. However, though, they I see interconnectedness there. You know, like for me, establishing order and balance within my home and with my children, and like as it pertains to education and food and finances, that helps me to be able to hire my band and to keep order in my band and do the same thing. Like I have to feed my musicians, I have to feed my children, I have to give my musicians structure and teach them how to play my music. I have to teach my children how to be on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not their mother, but they're doing something for me. They're working for me. I'm hiring them to play music how I want it to be played. Right. And so I take care of them in kind of the same way that I would take. Now these are grown men and women. I'm not taking care of them, but you know, I have that kind of approach. That's my approach as it pertains to both of them. And I've learned how to speak to musicians according to how I speak to my children, and I've learned how to speak to you know, how to teach them according to how I teach. So I'm telling you, it's like one and the same. It's actually, being a mother has helped me to be a better musician and to be a better leader, so to speak. So yeah,
that's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. Well, you know what? We're gonna get into searching. We got a couple minutes left. Everybody, if you're enjoying these, please feel free to check out episodes on YouTube, all the way from episode 7 with Keon Harold. I have them all up except the one last week. You know, but you can check those out on YouTube. Make sure that you get this album, Love and Liberation by Jazzmeia. We're gonna check out this one, her original composition, and this is Searching. And we're gonna just let the scat solo ride and all of that. And, yeah, so hold on, here we go, cats.
1, 2, 1, 2. Woo! I can't
Come on now, come on. Don't hurt nobody. Don't hurt nobody.
So silly.
Is that I don't know. Wait, listen. You know, I listen to. I don't know, man. I listen to music. I go on the experience. You know, so a lot of times when I listen to music, you know how some people listen when they're cleaning their house, or people listen when they're, you know, whatever. I sit. I might sit with a book maybe, but it's never too many distractions because I want to experience the way that it felt. You see what I'm saying? So like I be going crazy in the crib listening to music because I just love the experience of hearing it. You know, yeah, man. And Vic, yeah, we could let Victor solo ride a little bit because he's so bad too. Shout out to Victor Gould. That's my dude.
Yeah, he killing.
Yeah. Let's check that out.
You know what? That's not Victor.
That's not Victor? Uh-oh.
Nah, that's Sullivan.
Oh, Sully. Okay. All right.
See, I had two different pianists on the album.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
right.
Sully.
Sully. Shout out to Sullivan for that. Okay. Man. Let me see here. You know, you talked a little earlier about how the music, you know, and on the scene is mostly male dominated. But who would you say are like, you know, 5 women that push you and like you check out stuff. Like, did you hear the question?
It's coming in and out. You know, like every time you get ready to ask me a question, it comes in and out. Like, every other time I can hear you, but every time you get ready to ask me a question, it comes in and out. I think you were asking me about the women on the scene that I have reverence for.
Yeah, like I mean, you could say 5. You could say as many people as you want, but you know, yeah, I was wondering about that. Yeah.
I really like India Owens. That's my sister, man.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Detroit, another Detroit. We talking about that. I like the music that I like what she's doing. She's just so killing. And then her personality and her spirit for the music.
Yes.
I just really appreciate what she's doing, and I enjoy playing with her as well. So I call her a lot.
Yeah.
I really like Camille Thurman. That's my sister, man.
Yeah.
Listen, like, I really appreciate the fact that she's a singer that's not just a musician. You know, a musician that's not just a singer, and a singer that's not just a singer. You understand what I mean? Like, she understands how to play changes because she is a musician, but then she also understands how to play her horn as if she's singing the melody because she's a singer. There's so much balance in her sound and so much order in her work. And I have her albums too. So I really, you know, support her as well. Who else is there? Brandy. I like Brandy Younger. I like her style of playing. It's very beautiful and has different ambiances. You know, she's coming from Alice Coltrane. She's stemming from, you know, that place. They're a very spiritual and meditative place. So I really appreciate her work as well. I like, let me see, who else's music do I like? I like Terry Lynn Carrington, actually. Yeah. She's swinging. I mean, she comes from a family of musicians, you know what I mean? And she also is really killing. She's swinging, but she also like has a 90s vibe about her. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then she's very open to calling women and bringing women collectively together. You know, putting sounds together. I also like Ingrid Jensen. Do you know her, trumpet player?
Yeah, of course.
She bad as hell, yo. She bad. That's the bad. Listen, and she's well versed.
And I was gonna say, people don't talk about her enough, man, because she's smacking a lot of people down. You know. Ingrid is dope, man. Shout out for sure, man.
She's dope, and she's a mother. You know what I'm saying? She's also a mother too. So I appreciate that about her. How many is that? 5, 6. Yeah,
I said, I mean, that's it. That's dope, man. I didn't want you to. I ain't trying to put you in a box. You don't like no boxes, so I was like, you can say 5, you can say 25. you do whatever you want to do. You know, it's checking out the album. Of course, I noticed Green Eyes, which was one of the only covers on there. I think. I mean, I think there might be a standard.
There's 3 covers. I mean, there's 3 covers and 1 standard. Green Eyes is the Erykah Badu.
Yeah.
Reflections of My Heart is my favorite singer in the world, Rochelle Farrell.
Gotcha.
Absolutely favorite singer. And then No More is Jon Hendricks. No More.
dope.
John Hendricks wrote that. Mm-hmm.
Dope.
And then there's I Thought About You, which is
right. The standard. Yeah.
So,
with Green Eyes, of course, you know, Miss Erykah Badu, being from Dallas, I thought, you know, I mean, I saw the connection. So can you talk about, you know, the reasoning, you know, I mean, besides just her being incredible as an artist, what did it mean to you to record that? And did you get any positive feedback from the originator, you know?
Yeah, so before we even, like, the way that the record company works is they don't necessarily want to pay for something if they're not going to utilize it. So they reached out to her first to see if they could record it, because she wrote the lyrics but not the melody. So they did both. They reached out to the composer and they also reached out to the lyricist to make sure that it was okay. And then we recorded it, and then we had to send it to them, you know, to let them know what it sounded like, and everything was cool. We didn't get any feedback, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I saw Erykah at the Grammys, you know, twice, and she was busy. I was trying to speak and say hi. She doesn't owe me anything. None of the artists whose music I've, you know, done arrangements to, they don't owe me shit, man. They already, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I
don't necessarily need positive feedback from them. You know, she's getting royalties every time this music is played. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, every time the music is played, she's getting some royalties for those being her lyrics. I appreciate and love her music so much. If she never said anything to me, I would still feel the very same way. I didn't do it to get attention from her. I did it because she's a divine sister. She's a mother. You know what I'm saying? She's been a wife. She's a musician. She's an MC. She's a Black woman in this music, doing her thing. She's also, you know what I'm saying? Like, and all of her, I grew up on her music. How could I not? And all of her songs, there are certain songs, not all of them, but a lot of her songs, you know, they touch my heart. Like, especially Green Eyes. You know, I've lived that. You know, I try to stay away from songs that I've not lived. Like, Lush Life. I wouldn't sing that song for a long time because I didn't feel like I had never been drunk. You know, I didn't start drinking until I was like 24. You know, there's certain songs that I just try to stay away from. But like being green and gullible to a man and be, you know, trying to be accepted and falling in love and having my heart broken, and you know what I'm saying? That's the blues. Shit, you know, I know about the blues, baby. Saying so that was a song that was really easy for me to sing. Yeah. And then also I feel like the arrangement with that, I was able to, you know, write something. I feel like I was able to add something versus taking something away, you know, from the track. And also to me, the feel, you know, it's a 3/4. Gang, hey. It's already, the feel was already very like swinging to me anyway. So I was like, you know what? Instead of it having a backbeat, I was like, let's just swing this out and see, you know, see how this feels and see how we can. And I wrote a poem to it as well. The label wasn't really feeling the poem, so we kind of X'd that. But you know, we added different elements and stuff to it and tried to make it, you know, a little more like something that a lot of people said they didn't know that it was her song until they heard the lyrics. They didn't really, you know, put that 2 and 2 together until they were like, I don't love you anymore. They're like, oh yeah, that's the Badu song. So, you know, I hope, you know, with music, I hope I'm inspired by her so much in more ways than one. And not just her, Rochelle Farrell, you know, John Hendricks, all of the people who I've studied with or looked up to in that kind of way. I try to do some music that has, you know, that to show them my appreciation for them, you know, and that was one of the songs. That's what I tried to do with the song. You know, it wasn't to gain attention or anything like that. I mean, more like showing reverence to somebody who you respect, you know, and it's from your hometown. You know what I'm saying? That's why that's why I dug it. I was like, look at it. I see it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's Dallas, stand up, represent.
Let's get it. I was gonna ask you, who, you know, coming up in Dallas, who are the people that, you know, you were influenced by to get that start to be like, yo, you know, I want to move to the East Coast. You know, I know you went to Betty Carter Jazz Ahead. Like, who are the people that pushed you in Dallas to get you thinking beyond Dallas? You know, you get what I'm saying?
My best friend, one of my best friends on the planet, her name is Francesca Devers, and her husband, Leon Devers, is a trumpet player. They both went to the same high school, and actually, Francesca went to school with Erica, and my aunt's name is Kai Horn. They all went to school together, and so my aunt Kai, she is an actor. She's an evangelist now, but she grew up as an actor. She went to Booker T as an actor and a performer and a singer. My teacher, who is still a mentor of mine, his name is Roger Boykin. He's still teaching there. And, you know, he's still mentoring me and, you know, kind of giving me a little bit of guidance here and there about piano playing or publishing music, copyright, like a bunch of different stuff. We always have conversations. Who is that? What are you doing? Get out of my room. Get up. Get up. Get out of here. And who else? Let's see.
You know, I gotta get all of that, right?
You got to get what?
that interact. That's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You know, it's man. It's so inspiring. Just this. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Keep going. I'm sorry.
I have some snacks in here. You know, this is their lunchtime, and I made a really big breakfast for them. Yeah, we keep a tight schedule in this house because I'm a disciplined musician, and I have to get my practice time in. I have to get my meditation time in. So they know, you know, there's specific times that, you know, they're used to having, you know, their things. But she came in here to just steal my little snacks or whatever and just, you know, just walk back out. So,
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. I'm almost done, okay? You guys go sit down. There's nothing in there. You little. You did? Okay, next time you tell your sister to share with you, okay?
You know, we gonna play a little bit of this joint and then we're gonna wrap it up. But this is Green Eyes by the incredible Jazzmeia Horn. Remember to get that album. We're gonna check this out a little bit. Here we go.
Oh no.
So this could be Victor or Sullivan. I don't know. I'm gonna ask her when she get back. But shout out to both of them.
That's Victor.
All right. Shout out to Victor Gould, my dude.
Yeah, that's Victor. These people on here commenting, Jazzmeia, I want to play with this.
I'll let you handle that one.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, man. Well, Instagram is kindly again let me know that we are wrapping up. We got about a minute 30 left. Do you have any final things to say to the people?
I'm just reading these comments. I'm out here reading these comments. I'm like, oh wow, these people are really out here. They talking.
Oh yeah. They be chatting. You know, the Corona.
I ain't realized that.
They be hanging in there. You know what I'm saying? But it's usually all love. You know. And if
it's all love. Nobody's being disrespectful. It's all love. But I didn't realize they were all. I'm just like, oh wow, what's up?
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of people on here. JFB, what's up? John Foster Brooks.
John Foster
what's
Brooks,
up, bro?
Shot-Town Get Down. You already know. So
yes.
You know. So man, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. You know, again, just an incredible vocalist. I see the work you're putting in on the scene. I see all the things that you're doing, and I wish you continue blessings. I hope you keep putting in that work, you know, because it really, the scene really does need it. Strong vocalists such as yourself and pushing the culture and pushing the people forward. Yeah. So another virtual round, you know, for Jazzmeia. You got any final words?
I'm gonna do a free seminar soon. I just wanted to let you know and everybody know, not for just vocalists, but for all musicians, because I started an online course, the Jazzmeia